don't know what to post. The amount of times that this has run across my ear gates from clients coming to me for support or us getting deep into maybe creating a new product or course. And I may be asking the question, like you have to share more, you have to market your product, especially if you're wanting to market on social media. I often get, I don't know what to post. So I have about 6 or 7 reasons why you don't know what to post. And I share those reasons inside the 5 day Prep My Brand Challenge. Actually, one of those days I spend on content creation and I share my framework for creating content, 30 days of content in 15 minutes. But before I share the framework, I actually walk them through what does creating content actually look like. And today, I'm going to share 3 of those reasons with you. If you want the rest of them, you can join us inside the Prep My Brand Challenge. So the number one reason, well, they're not even in any order, okay? But the number one reason I'm going to share with you today is because you're unclear about what your product or service is. Now, I know you're saying, I know what I do, yada, yada, yada. You're unclear about what your product or service is. Now, there are a few reasons you could be unclear. One could be that you have so many products and services. And so when you're coming online or thinking about coming online to share, you don't know what to talk about. You don't know what your product or service is. This is why, now I believe in multiple streams of revenue. I have multiple streams of revenue in my business, and not just in this business, but I have multiple streams of revenue. But I believe in mastering something and then moving on to something else. Because what often happens is you start mixing all of the stuff up and then you become confused. And so the number one reason, remember, they're not in any order, just the number one reason that I'm going to share with you today out of the 6 or 7 that I'll be talking about and really deep diving about inside the Prep My Brand Challenge is you don't know what your product or service is. Many of you think your product or service is one thing, but it's actually something else. The number 2 reason why you don't know what to post on social media is you don't know who your product or service is for. Now, this is huge. So I'll ask the question, for instance, when people are scheduling for a VIP day with me or one of my masterminds, I'll ask the question, who is your target audience? Now, I use target audience because I know that's a word that is more known in social media world or in the business world. But I teach to a model called Your Perfect People. It's not for this broadcast, but I ask them who their target market is or their target audience. And many people will tell me people from the ages of 18 to 55. So you mean to tell me that an 18-year-old is going to have the same conversation, the same interests, the same desires as a 55-year-old? The chances are very, very, very slim, especially when it comes to the products and services of the customers that come to me for support. So you are unclear about who your product and services are for. So many people will say, I service anybody who yada, yada, yada. You don't know who your product or service is for. So how do you post on social media if you're unclear about who the product or service is for? How do you design a message or messaging or content that speaks to that person if you're unclear about who they are, if you don't have an avatar for your products or service? That's the number 2 reason. Number 3 reason, and this is huge, really, really, really huge. You don't have a target. Now, when you hear target, you may immediately think that I'm talking about money, like your target goal for the year. But in actuality, your target can be the number of people that you want to serve, or how many rental properties you want to buy, or whatever the case may be, but a target. And without a target, what often happens is you don't know when you hit the goal. You also don't know what activities you need to do, because if you have one target, the activities may be different than it would be if you had a different type of target. So, three reasons why you don't know what to post on social media. Number one, you aren't clear on what your product or service is. Number two, you aren't clear on who your product or service is for. And number three, you don't have a target. Now, speaking of target, many people go into business without a target. They just open a business, and I'll use myself as an example. So, I remember saying, I'm going to retire when I'm 35. Now, I hit 28, 29, and I was like, I don't think I'm going to retire in in the next 7 years. I'm just not seeing that. But there were a few things wrong. I didn't have a target. Like, I didn't know how much money I would need to continue living all those years, right? Without, having to work. I didn't know how much passive income I would need. I didn't know any of that. I was just saying I'm gonna retire at 35. And this is often how people run their business. They will say, I'm gonna make $1 million. They don't know what that looks like. They don't know what they would have to do in order to earn $1 million, or who they would have to be, or what type of activity they would need to be involved in themselves, or who they even need to be around in order to hit that particular target. Or they may set a number of people that they want to service. When you begin to create targets, it changes how your mind thinks about how you have to create it. I'm not going to go into the mindset thing, because if you followed me long enough, I said your mind has a lot to do with your money and everything else you set out to do. And much of your business is functioning off of the current mindset that you're using in your business. And so if you're opening a business and you haven't set a target, you're going to find yourself just working. And then you're going to find yourself working harder and find yourself working harder, because you really haven't set a target. So 3 reasons why you don't know what to post on social media. Number 1, you aren't clear what your product or service is. Number 2, you aren't clear of who your product or service is for, and you don't have a target. I'm going to be sharing about 4 more ways inside the Prep My Brand Challenge. It's the Black Friday edition. So if you haven't saved your seat, what are you waiting on? There are 2 ways to join. There's general admission. You get all 5 days of training on the various subjects. We're going to talk about clarity, your money, simplifying your business, creating content, social media, all of those things, right? And then there is VIP, where you get all 5 of those days. Oh, and you also get a private group where you can ask questions each day according to the trainings that were taught. And then there's VIP option. Now, VIP has several perks. You also get the 5 days that general admission gets, but you also get a live coaching call with the other VIP attendees, where you can ask me questions that are really personalized to your business. In addition to that, you get my money mindset course. So here we are with the mindset piece. I put mindset in everything that I'm offering, but you get that course absolutely free. You get it as soon as you sign up. You also get access to the private community, but here you don't get in the private community until the day that the Prep My Brand Challenge starts. It begins on the November the 25th and runs through the 29th for general admission. And then the VIP call is on the 30th. But if you sign up today, you get access to the Money Mindset course immediately upon signing up. You also get a training that I'm going to teach live on the VIP call about thriving even in a down economy. So I owned a brick and mortar service-based business. I was going to say back in 2003, but that was when I opened. But in 2008, our country went through what was called a recession. And I learned strategies that allowed me in that year to earn more money in my business than I had the 2 years prior. And we were in a recession. So I'm going to be teaching those strategies and some of the things that I did to not only maintain in a down economy, but to thrive. So for VIP, you get that training as well. And look, if you don't know what to post on social media, one of the days of training is creating content, where I teach you my framework for creating 30 days of content in 15 minutes. And a part of that training, before we get to the framework where you can do it in 15 minutes, we go through, what does it mean to create content? How do you get connected with the content? What's needed for your content to convert and connect to the right people? So I don't know what to post on social media. Is that something that you struggle with? Do you feel that way sometimes? I know one of the comments on a recent post that I had said they didn't know about positioning. It's difficult to position when you aren't clear on the product, you don't know who it's for, and you haven't created a target. That's my take. I'll be sharing the rest of those 7 points inside the Prep My Brand Challenge. You can find the link to join us somewhere around this video. I don't know what to post on social media. Let's solve that.